This is a shelter made out of printer paper, and I'm gonna spend the night in it. Let's go. Something got into some eggs, but it looks like some of them are safe. I'm back. Inside this box right here is 2 giant rolls of printer paper, and I'm going to be making a shelter out of it and spending the night in it. Sun's starting to poke out. I got a whole bunch of sticks left over from my previous builds. I'm going to use these and start making the roof. Next, it's going to be the interesting part of taking all of this paper and wrapping it on the roof and then the walls. So, let's get into it. There's no getting around it. These things are massive. Yep, I brought a giant paper cutter out into the middle of the forest. The roof is now complete. The roof's up, it's looking great, it's got a nice point to it. Next thing is I'm going to set up the hammock between some trees and then I'll start working on the walls. So similar to the aluminum foil shelter, I'm going to wrap each tree in paper, then tape the wall sections to each paper tree. And picking up that like 50-pound roll or whatever, however heavy it is, and walking around the tree with it 100 times it doesn't sound fun. So this is what we're going to do. One wall done. Two. Three. 4. It's time to get a door on this thing. It's finally done. Took about 5 hours and this thing is looking amazing. It's made out of printer paper, sticks, some rope and tape, and that's all. This thing is cool though. It's got a working door. We'll check out the inside in a minute. Let's do a little once around. There's a bunch of bees that keep landing on it. I think they like either the color of it or the smell or the taste. I don't know if they're eating it, but I'll make friends with the bees. I did put some sticks and I guess leaves and stuff around the edge on the bottom right there to keep out any draft. And it's just very bright and white. So let's check it out on the inside. My little handle up there. Door's got some nice little tape hinges. So this is the inside of it. It's actually pretty bright in here. It's quite nice. And it's very calm in here. And it's not a very windy day, which I'm grateful for. It's probably quieter than the aluminum foil shelter, but it'll probably be still a bit loud. You can see I have my hammock hanging up. Got my sleeping bag inside of it. I only used about 3/4 of that roll, if even, and about 3 rolls of big tape and about 2 tiny little scotch tape, so I have a lot of supplies left. For whatever reason, I thought I was going to end up using a lot more. On the aluminum foil one, I didn't have enough tape, and this time I have more than enough. I got my little kitchen area here. Gonna have some delicious gnocchi tonight. I'll be making that shortly. I'm quite hungry. Got my little stove, some tea and water, and other snacks if I wanted, some more water. I got my gear in here, little flashlight here. I got my little backpack there, just extra supplies. Got my tripod, got my camera gear in that one, and I think a pair of pants or something like that. I did bring my little heater. We'll see if I use that tonight. I am gonna run some tests on it with some paper outside just to see how flammable it all is. But yeah, this thing is pretty cool. And I do like how the light shines through it. I'm sure at night it'll look pretty cool with a lantern going on in here. So cool. This thing's looking pretty sweet though. So I thought it'd be a lot of fun. I have a bunch of spray paints that are kind of half used and some of them are pretty close to empty that I've used on projects in the past. And I want to go ahead and try to paint something on this back wall right here. I've never painted a wall with spray paints. I really have no idea what I'm doing. And who knows what this will look like, but I'm just going to have fun with it. I'm just casually walking around my paper shelter. Then all of a sudden, boom, look at this beautiful art right here. I think it looks pretty cool. I'm happy with it. You can kind of see it from the inside. Kind of cool. Do you like my shelter? I think that's a yes. What does one do when they have a giant roll of paper in the middle of the forest? Well, obviously, giant origami. Alright, so I got some nice square pieces of paper. And if you all got your easy origami books in front of you, you're gonna want to turn to page 26. We're gonna make a pigeon first. And boom, look at that. There's a big old pigeon. Well, it was a lot of fun to make some origami. I think my favorite one is probably the pigeon or the swan, because they're looking pretty good. I'm happy with them. Next thing is, it's time to make some dinner. I'm starving. So what's on the menu today is I'm having some gnocchi for dinner. I'm gonna have a pesto sauce with it, and I think I'm gonna throw in a little bit of this chili spread as well. I am gonna put a can of pink salmon in about half of it. It's gonna be a tasty dinner. I'm gonna go ahead and put them in. Oh no, I lost some. I'm a little bummed I lost a couple there, but still, this is gonna be tasty. I'm gonna throw in a little bit of this, add a little bit of spice. It looks like a crazy color. It's gonna be very flavorful. I really like canned salmon. Time for some dinner. Some gnocchi with some pesto and a little bit of spice and some canned salmon. Very good. I'm just sitting on a rock because the floor or the ground is wet. It's been raining the past couple days, but today was one of the first nice days, so I knew I could make the shelter today. All I'm saying is don't knock it until you try it. I'm super happy with the shelter. I think it turned out amazing. I'm surprised how little tape and paper are actually used. I think it took about 5.5 hours to make the shelter, so quite a while, but it went pretty easily. Just takes time to lay all the paper out. Again, it's too early for the mosquitoes to be out, which I'm so happy for. That was so good. I got a little bit of daylight left. I decorated the lawn area with my origami. I got my metal detector in hand, got my shovel in my pocket. Let's see if we can find something real quick. Look at this crazy bent tree. Seems like something's here. Alright, let's look. Is this it? What is this? Already here. Something to do with the plow again? Not sure what it is. It's a big heavy chunk of metal though. Looks like maybe a rod or stick went in there and there's like a nail going through it, so maybe there was a piece of wood that used to be in here. This is like a square hole. Looks like this side broke off. No idea, maybe it's like an old rake or something like that. I don't know, it's interesting. If you know what it is, I'm very curious, let me know. But cool find, probably old farm equipment or something like that. But pretty cool. Look at all the shells on this old stump. This is definitely like a squirrel's favorite spot to eat. It's an old, like glass jar lid. Looks like some gross foil or something. Like probably a really old beer can or something like that. Well, I'll take it with me at least and put it in the trash. Back to the shelter to check out what we found today. First thing found is this thing. Not sure what it is. It's heavy metal. I was hitting it against a rock to knock out all the dirt and I realized there's a couple more like holes. Not really sure what it is. Looks like this little bit's broken. It looks like it used to swivel. It looks like it's pretty ground away right there just from wear and tear of turning, I believe. And don't know what used to go here. Is this from an old bike or something? I have no idea what this is. If you know what this is, let me know. I'm very curious. Could be old farm equipment. Could be something from a rocket ship that fell. I really have no idea, but probably not a rocket ship. The other thing we found, an old ball, like a mason jar lid. Super crunched, super old looking, and yeah. And the last thing we found is just this gross junk, like metal. Pretty fun today, found some cool stuff. It's always nice to find something, and it's always nice to find something other than just a bunch of junk. The mystery behind this is what makes me excited. I'm about to do the test called, am I going to use this tonight or not? And what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn it on. I'm far away from everything. It's been raining the past few days. And I'm just going to hold up tiny pieces of paper and see how close it gets until it catches on fire. Because this is definitely the most flammable shelter I have made, especially with this thing. So let's see how it goes. Alright, well it is lit. Let's see if it catches from right here. It is on high right now. I'm doing worst case scenario. I don't think this is gonna catch. What about from above where the heat's rising? I'm surprised it's not catching from here. There's really not much I have to worry about. I'm literally holding the paper right up to the grill and this thing isn't catching, and it's really hot on my fingers, like uncomfortably hot on my fingers. Like if I touch it to it, it'll catch. But even if I stick it in there like that, it's too hot on my hands. But if I stick it in there like that, it's not even gonna catch. It is hot on my hands though. So this thing is super safe. I don't really have to worry about this at all tonight. There's a couple of turkeys over there. Got turkeys over there and also got deer. It's officially nighttime. Let's go on a little night walk. Ooh. Maybe we'll run into some deer. There has been a few deer out today. It's easy to tell where I'm going. I just have to follow the noise. Let's go check out the big pond. It's a pretty big frog just floating there. Is that a little tiny one? That is the smallest little guy right there. So tiny. This is like the size of like my thumbnail or something. This is so small. I almost need like earplugs. You can see there's some ducks over there. Swimming at night. See that hole right there? It'd be creepy if some face just popped up there. Alright, my frogs and ducks. Have a wonderful night and sleep well. So let's head on back to the shelter. It's a very calm night. I can see my shelter a little better because I left that light on. I was curious if the light would shine through it similarly to the saran wrap shelter. Don't really see any deer or anything. Just scanning the forest. Looking for any eyes. Oh man, there's so many vines here. You can see the shelter? There you go. It's awesome. It's the end of the night. I'm relaxing in my hammock, in my sleeping bag, in my wonderful paper shelter. I never thought I'd ever be spending the night underneath a paper roof with paper walls around me. But honestly, I'm really happy about that. I got an incense by the door. It's about 2 feet from the door, so it's really nothing to worry about. I got my little buddy heater on. I did test it earlier, so I'm really not worried about that at all. Yeah, it was a wonderful day today. I did pretty much everything I wanted. I built this wonderful shelter. I painted this mural behind me with the spray paint. I'm really happy with the way it turned out. It turned out pretty nice. And I also did some giant origami. I also made some wonderful dinner, and it was delicious. And then I metal detected, and I found 3 things I was happy about. But it's the end of the night. I got everything ready. Got my snacks and everything over here. I got some tea, which I'm going to have in a minute. Got some water, my flashlights, and I'm just relaxing in my paper shelter. I can hear the peepers in the background. I got a couple on the small pond by me today. I can hear them, but I can still hear the majority of them at the larger pond as well. But it was a wonderful day. I'm going to get some good rest, and then tomorrow in the morning, I'm going to make some breakfast, and then we're going to clean up and head home. What a beautiful day. Well, it's morning. We made it through the night, and it's cold. I'm pretty cold right now. I'm holding a bunch of hand warmers, and I'm just waking up, and I have all my warmest clothes on. And the next thing is, let's check it out outside and have some breakfast. So I'm greeted with my origami friends, and they honestly look a bit deflated. It feels kind of wet. It just feels damp. I'm sure the whole house feels damp then. Walking around it, looks like it held up really nicely. Does have a little bit of sogginess to it. And the beautiful mural held up nicely. Next, it's time to cook some pancakes. I'm cold and hungry, so let's start making them. Heat up the pan. We got pancakes on the menu. We got the dry mix and the portion of water. Mix it up. Some nice pancake batter. I find this batter is a bit thicker, and I find when it's colder it gets even thicker. I'm gonna have some tasty cakes for breakfast. It's definitely a bit chilly. One pancake, a delicious pancake. Got another one. Another cake. And another little tiny cake. We got 3.5 little pancakes. Well, I got some pancakes. It's cold. I'm gonna eat with my hands to hopefully warm them up as well. Warm pancakes on a cold morning. Perfect. It was a fun little adventure. The shelter turned out really nice. It's interesting how the paper turned a little saggy after the night. It's just the moisture, I guess, from it getting so cold. The shelter really didn't make any noise, which I'm happy about, but it was such a calm night. One pancake left. Delicious, delicious pancakes. Last bite, and it's gone. Well, it was a lot of fun, but sadly it's time to clean up and head home. But thank you, shelter, for protecting me through the night. It's time to clean you up. Let's take one final look at the paper shelter, or should I say the soggy shelter. Bye!